And there's no aspect, no facet, no moment of life that can't be improved with pizza. Thank you.
Hello there. I'm going to show you how to get this beat face using a sponge. Only a sponge. Are you ready? So today I have accepted the Juno & Co. Sponge Challenge. Basically, I'm going to be doing my whole face with this sponge only. And I know that y'all are probably like, how you gonna do that? I don't know. But we're gonna get it done. So I'm going to start off by using dry products and then switch to wet products. Since the Juno & Co. sponge is microfiber, I can basically just wipe the powder off and then start using the sponge again. So right now my sponge is dry and I'm going to start with my brows as usual. And I'm going to use the Morphe Brushes Brow 7 palette. And I'm going to use the darkest shade, and I'll be using the very tip of my Juno & Co. sponge to fill in my brows. This is really going to test how, I wouldn't say how good I am at doing my makeup, but just how functional this sponge actually is. So I'm filling this in. That's not too bad. So the idea behind this challenge is basically the fact that the microfiber kind of makes the sponge similar to brushes. That's not too bad. I see a lot of people with their eyebrows like this too, so maybe people have been using sponges to do their brows and we're just now catching up. I don't know. That's pretty decent. All right. My goal is to be able to do this without having to wash the brush or wash the sponge, because once it's wet, it takes a while to dry, as I'm sure you guys know. So I'm just using it like a brush, like I normally would, filling in the bottom, blending upwards. Of course, I can't make those hair-like strokes that I prefer, but that's okay too. And just like when I'm using brushes, one brow is definitely bigger than the other one. I don't know if I want to even them out or not, but I'm going to, because why the heck not? Okay, they were looking good at first. But that's what a finger's for. I think I can use my finger in this challenge. I don't think that's against the rules. Look at that. Oh my God. Moving on. Moving all the way on. I just love how soft that is. I am going to use my LA Girl Pro Concealer to conceal underneath my brows. And I'm going to add this to the back of my hand here. Sorry, that's a swatch that I did earlier. To the back of my hand, and I'm using the same point. Hopefully the concealer doesn't totally mix with the brow product. And I'm just going to clean underneath my brows. Now, honestly, this is working out pretty good, but it's really, really hard for me to see. Let me see. Yeah, it's really hard to see because the sponge is so big. Okay. And then I'm just going to blend it in. And from the looks of it, the eyeshadow is not mixing. Not the eyeshadow. The brow powder is not mixing with the concealer from the sponge. So that's awesome. Alright, so let's try the other brow. It really is sliding underneath my brows. That's amazing. I honestly was not expecting this to go well. And I'm just going to use my concealer to prime my eyelids, because I have to do eyeshadow too, which should be fun. And if you haven't guessed it already, I am definitely keeping it simple with this one, because there's no way I can layer a ton of eyeshadows with the sponge. I don't see it happening. I really, really don't. And that's what the sponge looks like now. Okay, so now we're gonna do eyeshadow. I have cream shadows, so I can literally just go ahead and dip right into this. And I'm just gonna put this all over my eyelid, if it'll show up. If it doesn't show up, then I'll have to use something else. Okay, I'm gonna wipe the sponge off and try something else. I'm going to go ahead and dip into this palette. This is the Summer Nights palette. It's also from Juno & Co. And I'm gonna go ahead and put on some brown because that's what I was aiming for. Picked up quite a bit of shadow and I'm just gonna dab it in. So I am dabbing this all over my lid. It's a lot harder to have control with a sponge, I feel. But since this sponge is microfiber, I might be able to blend this out. We'll see. So I'm blending. Oh wow, it's actually blending out. That is amazing. Blend, blend, blend. This is so funny. That's not too shabby. That's not too shabby at all. Let's do the other eye. It really is packing the eyeshadow on though. That's for sure. So if I ever want to get a tiny sponge to pack on all my eyeshadow, this is definitely it. And the micro, wow. The sponge is really like layering it on. And I know some, well, no, brushes don't do that. Not that quickly either. That's amazing. They should make a microfiber brush just for this, just for packing eyeshadow on. I do notice though that when I'm trying to blend, there's a little bit of skipping, only because, like I said earlier, it's kind of hard to have control with the sponge being a sponge. And then also I can't see, so. There's that. But I'm blending this out. I'm going to go into the shimmer shade right here. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in my inner corner. Wow, it really does pick up the eyeshadow. And it does blend. It's just, it's hard to get it to blend well since it's so big. Normally I do eyeliner, so I'm going to take Late Night right there on the sponge, and I'm just going to brush it out this way, like that. And then I'm just going to wing it like that, and then kind of like clean it up as best as you can clean up black. And do the same thing over here. I think it's turning out pretty good. I look a hot mess and I'm still being particular about it. Okay, so that's what my sponge is looking like. I am done with my eyeshadow. So what I'm gonna do is try to wipe off some of the black because I'm going to start doing my face. Okay, so my sponge is wet and I'm wiping off more of the eyeshadow, which surprisingly it's coming right off. Yeah, so I'm gonna do my foundation. And since we're testing this out to see how good it is. I'm going to take my Toughest foundation, ABH foundation stick, and I'm going to rub it on, sis, like so. But I'm not going to blend it out or anything until I use my sponge. I love how creamy foundation sticks are, but they just don't do it for me. Okay, so I've got my foundation on and I didn't blend it by any means. So now I'm going to take the flat side that I've been using. I just kind of want to see if the eyeshadow is going to mix with the foundation, but anyway. And I'm going to blend this out. Now, since this is a microfiber sponge, I can actually gently pull the sponge around, and I'm not like tugging on my face. I'm just gently sweeping it across my face like I would a brush, and it just smooths everything out, and I love that. You can definitely tap, you don't have to rub, but I'm using a cream foundation, so gotta be a little bit tougher. And it's covering really, really good. Which I'm surprised because this foundation doesn't have the highest coverage like at all. And I'm actually going to take a little bit of the foundation on my sponge and use it to clean up the sides here, or try anyway, here, like that. Yeah, because the sponge isn't going to do it. Not on its own anyway. And so I'm just going to clean that and dab it away like that. And blend it all in. Now for my forehead, literally just rubbing it across like that. Okay, so next I'm gonna use some concealer. This is my LA Girl Pro Concealer, and I am going to dab it just like that. I got a lot more over here. There you go, just like that. And I'm going to use the concealer to further clean up the side of my eye. Same thing over here. All right, I think we're doing pretty good. So I'm just gonna dab this in now, like that. That looks really good for what it's worth. That looks really, really good. And I personally love this sponge for my concealer. And whenever I really want to pack on my foundation, but I don't want to use a brush or my brushes are dirty. So I'm gonna blend this in right here. I think the hardest part was cleaning up the black, which I'm still doing, obviously. But that is definitely the hardest part. I may actually need more concealer. It's setting powder time. This honestly is the scariest part, only because it's a microfiber sponge, so it picks up so much. So I'm going to use this side, and I'm just going to pick up what's on my lid here and press it in. And I only really set underneath my eyes. So yeah, like I was saying, I only really set underneath my eyes. And with this sponge, since it doesn't absorb product, you literally don't even have to get half as much of whatever you're using as you normally do. Okay, so the next thing that I have to do is contour. And I'm going to opt to use my foundation to contour instead of powder. And the reason why is because it just turns out looking a lot nicer. It's a lot cleaner. And also, it's going to be easier for me to blend. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this on the back of my hand. Ooh. And this is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. And I'm going to dab it right up in here. Wipe the excess off the sponge and just blend it right out. Just like that. If you are a oily girl, you'll definitely have to set this though. Which my skin is oily, but I just act like it's not, so. Nice and contour. And finally, I'm going to highlight. Oh wait, I have to do my lipstick. I don't have to do my lipstick with the brush, I don't think. I keep calling it a brush. It's a beauty blender. So I'm going to take my NARS La Multiple in Copacabana, and I'm going to highlight my face. Now I'm going to do my lips, and I'm assuming that since the challenge is what it is, I have to use the sponge to put on my lipstick. So I'm going to use this Milani lipstick in the shade Rose Femme. This is what it looks like. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it on the back of the sponge right here. And it is definitely picking up that lipstick. And here we go. Maybe I'll add a little blush. So let's see. I'm going to use my NYX HD blush in the shade Double Dare. And I'm just going to dip into it like that. Ooh. And put my blush on. That's cute. The things we discover when we try challenges. Okay, I put too much on this side. I put too much on. Guess I could just flip it over here and like even it out a little bit. And lately I've been taking my blush like up on my cheeks because it just looks super cute to me. And last but not least, my beauty mark. So as you can see, I have a beauty mark right here, and I use this liquid liner to put it on. So I'm just going to take the very tip of this this is my final look. You know what? It could definitely be worse. Like, it could legit definitely be worse. And I mean, I might walk outside looking like this if I had to. Because I can always, like, edit the pictures to look more decent. But my face, flawless. My face looks really, really good. I definitely prefer a different foundation, but this is the one that I wanted to try using with the sponge because of the microfiber. And I really wanted to see if it will blend it out really well, and it did. But yeah, like, look at that. I'm glowing. My brows and my eyes are questionable, but I think I did a pretty good job, so yay! This is what my sponge looks like after doing a full face with it. That is pretty awesome. And like I said, I did start with my brows and my eyes, my dry stuff first. So, thank you to Juno & Co. for tagging me in this. This was actually really fun and kind of easy to do. Easier than I thought it would be. So, I'm going to tag 2 people. And the 2 people that I'm going to tag are people that I know have the sponge. My friend Tiara. I want to know if you can do it. And then I also want to tag Makeup by Serenity because I know she has a sponge too. And I think it'd be really fun for her to try this out. So, yes. You know what? My wing is snatched. That's a snatched wing. Like, yes. Anyway, thank you for watching the video, you guys. Thank you for subscribing and supporting me. We reached 5K. And don't forget to watch the next video and share my channel with your friends. I will see y'all next time.